So for our assignment 2, my groupmate and I have worked on pickups and enemies that will procedurally spawn based off of the health, ammo count, and location of the player. To do this, we started by building a pretty simple level here with just a few twists and turns and outcroppings and a little bit of cover. And once we'd tested the level and made sure it was all working fine, we began implementing the pickups and enemies. Before I get into more depth about what we've done, let me just show what it does. So I'll run through here, and after about 10 seconds it will spawn the first enemy. And that's because I'm above 90% health and I've got all my ammo. So the enemy will run around doing this thing like they do. And then if I were to empty out my clip so that I have no ammo, then rather than spawning an enemy, it will pick the nearest node to spawn an ammo pickup, which are the red squares. And if I was low on health, it would spawn a health pickup. So this system means that you can have a level that will respond to how well a player is doing, so that it's never too difficult or too easy. And that's going to come together with our AI and in the future multiplayer to create a really strong shooter level. So the center of all of our improvements is the spawn manager. So here's our blueprint here. We've got a timer set up so that every 10 seconds it will call the spawn function. And that's when it will figure out here whether it wants to spawn the health, ammo, or an enemy. And it does that by checking the player's current health. And if it reaches the condition of less than 40, then it will spawn a health pickup. If it doesn't, then it will check the player's ammo. And if that is low enough, then it will spawn the ammo pickup. And if that still isn't met, then it will check if the player's health is above 70. And if it is, then it will spawn an enemy. The spawning code itself is here in our spawn manager C++ script. For the pickups and the enemy, it's a little different. For our pickups, it will find the nearest node, which we have here based off the AI manager's nearest node. This is from a list of spawn nodes, which are the designated outcroppings on the level. And it will find the nearest one of those to the player and spawn in a health or ammo pickup there. And it will do that 80 above the ground so that the pickup is floating and not within the ground. Spawn enemy, on the other hand, will go to the AI manager, where it will create an agent if there is less than one already there. It will then grab the player's location and find the nearest node to them, and then find that node's location in the all nodes array, and make sure that the potential spawn areas for the AI is beyond the player's current location, so that the enemies are never spawning behind the player, which was a very important thing for us. And then it will spawn them and add them to the all agents list so that there is one there and it won't keep spawning them constantly. In terms of how the pickups work, it's a pretty simple blueprint where we just check if the health component is valid. If it is, then it will get a replenish amount, which we'd set to 100. And then it will replenish the player's health. And that is done with an onHealth replenished function here in the health component script. And the ammo pickup will just reload the player's gun and set its ammo back to the full amount. So this work comes together with our last assignment by creating a level that will react to the player. So the enemy AI will be smarter with its improved sensing, and the level will adapt to how well the player is doing. And combined with the multiplayer, that'll create quite a compelling experience for the player. My group mate and I worked very closely in our development. I was working on the enemies and their spawning, while Jonathan was working on the pickups and how they work. So we were in constant communication, and that meant we had a very unified vision for how this level was gonna pan out. With assignment 4, this level could be used to create a sort of co-op level for the player and a friend, which would mean a few changes need to be made to the code. Particularly, it all assumes that there is only one player character, and it all references the single player character. So some of that will need to be changed when being moved over to a co-op format. So I hope you found this video interesting. Jonathan and I experienced a few barriers in the development, but in the end we're happy with how it turned out and how we managed to overcome all those issues to create a project we could be happy with. Thank you.